That A7's wind didn't just howl, it mourned. It carried the Velpac's death song across the crystalline valleys, long notes that made the ice itself seem to grieve. 23. Cubs were missing. The training shelf had cracked and dropped into a crevasse. The elders had already begun the morning rites, their bioluminescent fur dimming with every verse. Ardan Vale heard the song from 3 kilometers away and kept walking. Inside her exo-suit, she checked her oxygen 0.14%. Not great, she whispered. Everyone had told her not to go. Post officials, Velcari scouts, even the logical part of her own brain. But Ardan had spent 8 months as humanity's liaison here. She'd learned their language, shared their meals, and watched their cubs turn snowfields into playgrounds. KZZ, the smallest of the litter, had once trained her in ice moth hunting, batting her glove like a serious instructor. Now Kazal was out there somewhere. Young Velcari couldn't hold body heat the way adults could. In weather like this, 2 hours, maybe less. The pack had searched until the storm forced them back. That was 90 minutes ago. Ardan triggered her suit. Scanner. The display flickered, then died. Electromagnetic interference. She swallowed the rising fear and switched to manual search. Fine, she muttered. Old school. The collapsed shelf was a jagged maze. She climbed over overturned slabs and slid down glittering slopes while her servos complained. Warning, power draw. Warning, structural strain. She ignored them and forced one thought into her head. If I were a cub, where would I hide? Narrow seam between 2 ice towers flashed in her helmet light. She squeezed through metal scraping crystal and found herself in a small cavern, silent, dark. Her light swept the space. 23 small bodies piled together, frost on their fur. No sound, no. Ardan breathed. She dropped to her knees and pressed a gloved hand to the nearest cub. A faint warmth, a tiny tremor, shallow breath. Alive, not safe, but alive. Her emergency beacon wouldn't punch through the storm. Waiting for help meant watching them fade. Carrying them one by one meant losing them anyway. Her power gauge blinked. 8%. Ardan tore open the suit's emergency compartments. 3 thermal blankets. Okay, she whispered. Stay with me. 5 cubs in the first blanket. 6 in the second. She sealed the edges tight, trapping every precious degree of heat. Her oxygen fell as the suit compensated. 10%. 9%. The third blanket became a sling. She knotted it fast, loaded 7 cubs inside, and strapped the bundle across her chest. 5 cubs remained. Ardan stared at her suit's limb compartments, not made for passengers. But humans didn't come this far by obeying labels. 2 cubs into the left compartment, 2 into the right. She sealed them carefully. 1 cub left KAZZ. His eyes cracked open dim, stubborn. His fur, usually silver blue, had gone pale as moonlight. Hey, teacher, Ardan whispered. She unsealed her helmet. Cold slammed in. The air burned. Ice formed. On her lashes, she had minutes. Maybe less. Ardan scooped Kazal up, pressed him inside the suit against her chest, and resealed the helmet. Alarms shrieked. She overrode them all. Then she stood. 23 cubs distributed across her body, and 1 against her heartbeat. The servos groaned. She took a step, then another. Oxygen. 5%. The wind tried to shove her back. Snow hammered her visor. Ice shifted under her boots like it wanted her to fall. Ardan kept moving anyway. When her oxygen hit 2%, she started to sing. Old earthwork songs. Steady rhythm, steady breath. Not for courage, for control. Step. Breathe. Step. Breathe. Oxygen hit 0. Emergency reserves kicked in. She kept walking. When those dwindled, she held her breath for 3 steps at a time and walked faster. because panic would spend her last strength in seconds. Through the blizzard, warm lights appeared, faint, then bright, the Velcari settlement. Death song, outside it, stopped. Shapes surged into the storm scouts. Hunters, elders moving fast, disbelieving. They reached Ardan 50 meters from the entrance. She collapsed into the snow, arms locked around the sling, body curled over. Every bundle she could touch, hands and paws pulled her inside. Warmth hit her like waking up. Heaters roared somewhere overhead, and for a second her visor fogged as cold met life. Voices rose around her sharp Velcari clicks, panicked questions. Prayers then quieted into stunned silence as the last cub was pulled free. Right then, blankets were peeled back. Compartments opened. Cub after cub was lifted, free, shivering, blinking, alive. 23. Someone whispered, "All alive." An oxygen mask settled over Ardan's face. Air rushed in, and the world softened. When she woke again, she was in the medical bay under heat blankets. Gazelle was curled on her chest, purring. The other cubs were piled around her bed, a warm breathing wall. The elders stood watching, luminescent tears sliding down their fur. The pack leader stepped forward and placed a paw over Ardan's hand. Formal, sacred. "We ask the stars," she said, "why humans spread so far, why the fragile ones cross the galaxy." Ardan managed a weak smile. Stubbornness. The elder's ears twitched. "Love," she corrected. "Humans love with the same ferocity they fight." Her voice lowered. "You do not abandon those you claim as your own, even when they are not your species." Kazel nuzzled Ardan's neck and purred louder. Ardan exhaled, half laughing. "I'm going to have one hell of a frostbite story." Then, "It is fortunate," the leader said, "that we record our histories." Outside, the storm still raged. Inside, the Velpack began a new song. Not a death song, but a life song. A song about a human who walked through hell and carried their children home.